This episode contains talk about racism and biphobia, as well as talk about other types of xenophobia.
It's time for Alphabet Soup.
Hello, and welcome to Alphabet Soup. Today, I'm your host, Nova. I'm using they, them pronouns. My co-host today is Cam, who uses they, them. And our guest today is Abby, going by she, her pronouns. Let's get right into it. So, Abby, our first question, how do you identify?
I am bisexual.
Poggers.
Poggers.
I didn't know what to say.
I am a bisexual woman, have been for a long time.
Nice.
You and Fish are the only ones I know who say poggers unironically, and I can't stand it.
We got you to say it.
When have I ever said it? When have I
Not
ever said
unironic.
No, you said it, and we're like, because I.
Oh yeah, I
added
do
Fish.
remember that. I did say it.
Yeah.
I started saying worm too. I don't know where Fish got that.
I pick up all of Fish's,
I think I started saying
Sentences.
Coolio after I saw you use it once.
I never say.
So that's fun.
I don't remember who it was. It was
Never
either you or
say
Fish. One
Coolio.
of you guys said it once, and I started saying it. It sounds better in text.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay. Abby, what was your gay awakening?
Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think because there's two that are a possibility. Both cartoons, by the way.
Tell us both.
Oh my god. So I am obsessed with horse movies, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Problem, I don't know why. I am just oof. Anyways, so there is this horse in this movie. Do not judge me because this horse is beautiful.
I'm gonna judge you.
There were two of them. So there's Spirit Stallion the Cimarron is,
Oh my, that's such a good movie.
oh my gosh.
Oh my god, it was
Beautiful male
horses?
You get. Are you gonna tell me your gay awakening was Spirit?
Right, but literally his girlfriend Rain, oh my god, she pulls up on the screen.
Oh my god.
She's this little, she's like a fairy horse. She
Oh my
comes
God.
out of nowhere. She's got a feather in her hair, and she's riding. She's so pretty when she's riding next to him, and I'm oh my god, I love it. So beautiful. And it was just the most fantastic thing ever. And just, oh my god. Secondly, we have, what was the other one? The other one is I was freaking obsessed with The Lion King. That movie.
Oh my god, was it
Had-
Nala?
You're telling. All I'm hearing is that you're a furry.
It was, but also, Scar, I freaking,
Oh my god.
that man, related to him so hard.
Why Scar?
We are literally not going to sit here and pretend Scar is not the most non-straight line you've ever seen in your life.
That man.
That
him
man,
low.
He's very not straight.
Yeah.
he's not.
He's aggressively queer-coded. Yes, Nova.
Also, you're sitting here telling me that you thought that Scar was hot. So you are
He is.
you are looking at the wrong line, my friend.
Nala is a solid 10 out of 10 too.
Oh my god.
To Can You Feel the Love Tonight? All I was thinking of was them falling down the hill, and I was I was just so happy thinking about that. That was a dream come true. You're just watching it, and it's just singing in the background, and you're just I want this so bad.
Oh my god.
And she looks at you. She literally looks at him with the most seductive face ever. Come on, this is stupid.
Okay, but now have you seen The Lion King too?
I have Kovu.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you didn't mention Kovu. You mentioned Scar.
Okay, I was.
There's a
talking
Lion
about-
King too?
It's really good. You should watch it.
Wait,
Also,
what is
Lion
it?
King 2.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
Is it 1.5?
Huh.
Yes, 1.5.
Wait, what is it?
It's Lion King, but told, yeah. It's told from their perspective. I have all of them. If I get my other laptop,
1.5, but I own one.
no, I own all of them. If I get my other laptop that has a disc tray, I will stream it to the server and we can watch them all together.
Heck yes.
Honestly, they're probably on Disney Plus, so I don't even need to do that. But we will watch them together.
I'm not sure 1.5 is on there though. I would be surprised if it was.
I don't know.
For some reason, that one didn't get like a lot of hype, and I'm really surprised because it was actually a pretty good movie.
It's good if you don't watch it right after the first one.
Yeah, I watched it like a couple years past it, so it was like, oh, okay. And then I just like learning about Timon's lifestyle. It was funny.
They do, in fact, have all of the movies on there.
Oh, that's dangerous.
That is dangerous information for Abby. Oh my god.
I will sit here and watch all of them. Like Scar's villain song.
That's a good song.
They took it out of the live action. They had him do like a dramatic recitation
They
of
took
it.
out
It
the
was
song.
really
I was
awful.
so mad. So
About
mad.
that, and I was not living. Okay, I have yet to see the actual, like the live action one, simply because I know how good the original is, and I do not want to ruin that for me.
It's not terrible. They just take out a lot of songs.
It makes me sad that they do that with the live Disney's now, because it's
Yeah.
what made the Disney movie pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I get why you take it out, because it's like you're more trying to tell the story or trying to make it less of a musical.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I mean, The Lion King is already a musical, like, on Broadway, so just leave all this stuff in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just makes me mad.
They were doing it just to get the revenue off of nostalgia, because
Yep.
they knew people who would see it.
Originality does not exist.
The people that have seen it, they don't really like it that much because it's not as close as, like,
It's not as
the first
good.
one is.
It's not as
And the
good.
thing is that, like, so they're coming out, obviously, with the live-action Little Mermaid, and I'm not
my
excited about
God.
it because, like, not because of the actress they picked is absolutely perfect, and she's beautiful and everything, but I'm just nervous because they're going to take, like, all the good songs out of
Wait,
it.
which songs are they taking out?
I mean, they have to
taking
be
out?
Under the Sea, because that one has to be in there. Like,
Under the Sea is
Fathoms
iconic.
Below, and all these other ones. It's just,
The songs are the best part of the movies, honestly. Like, especially Be Prepared. That is the best song of The Lion King. And they went, nope. Can't
so
That's what that show
like,
when I
the
was
Circle
young.
of Life is really good too, but, like, that's the main song, and then you're talking about iconic villain songs. Like, that is an iconic villain song. Like, you
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to watch The Lion King without listening to that song, and it just makes me sad because, like, that'll be the definition of what today's Disney is gonna look like instead of, like, the original stuff, which makes me really sad because the original stuff is
Yeah.
what makes Disney
was like-
Disney.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's just a personal
was like-
preference of mine.
Yeah, the Disney Renaissance, like from what was it? I can't remember what started it, but those iconic '90s movies are really what make Disney.
Yeah.
They just did a really good job with, like, the production quality of it. I mean, even if it's an older movie, it's still
Relevant.
like, they just produced it well. They just did a good job with it. It's the one thing that I will not, like, take a bad look at, things there, because, like, everybody is always hurt about something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's understandable for certain things, but, like, it's a Disney movie. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I understand, but they were also living in a different generation than we were. So, like, you have to understand it from that perspective, too.
Yeah.
I understand taking away things that are blatantly racist or blatantly,
Like the Huns from
You know.
Mulan. Jesus Christ.
they can take out certain things, but just...
The problem is they didn't just take out stuff that was like blatantly racist. They also just sucked the life out of the performance.
And that's not what Disney's about. It's
No.
friendly. I mean, there's just things that I wouldn't, like, if you were a kid, you would never notice it.
Yeah.
You would never pay attention to it. You would just watch the movie for the sake of watching the movie. If you put more attention to it, of course somebody's going to say something about it. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be that person that's like, oh, it's okay that we make movies that are, you know, this, that, and the other. It's like, no, it's just a classic movie that you're trying to take everything into consideration, and it's just, yeah. I don't particularly find it to be, I don't find it, like, necessary to go about all those extra steps in order to just stop something that seems to me meaningless, but
Yeah.
I guess it's not my place to say necessarily.
I do like that, like, on some movies on Disney Plus, they've added, like, a culture warning saying, like, these are product of the time, that it wasn't okay then, it definitely isn't okay now, but, like, they basically say, like, these things were never okay to do or say, but they weren't as frowned upon or called out as they are today, and, like...
Exactly.
Did they put Dumbo up on Disney Plus though? Because there was that whole Jim Crow scene, which, like,
I think from what I've seen, that and Peter Pan are only on, like, they're not on the children profile. So if you have your profile marked as a child's profile, it won't show up.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they have, like, restrictions like that, I'm fine with it. I just think that, like, minusculely picking at everything is just not the way to go about it.
Yeah.
I go, you want to make an actual change in the way that we view stuff, like, just look at it as, okay, it's a learning curve for us for now, and it's not okay, but it's just like,
yeah,
exactly. So I don't know, I just feel like we put too much pressure on certain companies to do everything, like, super PC, and I understand to a point, like, yeah, there's things that you need to just not put in, obviously, so like, be aware of that, but sometimes I feel like the censorship just gets a little bit too high, and then of course you have people that do not agree with that, and that's totally fine. Everyone has their own opinions on the situation, but and I understand why some people are upset about it, because obviously I am a white woman, so I don't have, like, a very good standing on minority stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like cancel culture has kind of also reached that same thing of, like, it's almost a little too far sometimes. Yeah.
It's just I feel like we just take it out of proportion sometimes. Like, there's things that should be fixed, and things that we should just leave alone.
Yeah, and
there's that awful trend on TikTok with, like, the pick-me girl thing where they're trying to call out pick-me girls, and I'm like, you're perpetuating the very thing you're trying to point out.
Yeah.
Like, you're bashing other girls. That's Jesus Christ.
The problem with, like, cancel culture and stuff is, like, yeah, there are some bad, like, creators and content and stuff, but the more you talk about and the more you, like, outrage about it, the more attention it gets.
Yeah.
And then you're not doing what you...
Why they do it in general, too.
Yeah. And then it becomes any publicity is good publicity. It starts becoming, like, that kind of thing. Instead of, like, if people would just, like, be like, oh, yeah, like, I don't like what this creator's doing, I'm just going to stop watching.
I just think that as long as you point out the issue, and then, like, we have gotten to a point where cancel culture is very toxic, like, very, very toxic. Because there's people that will literally, I mean, it's like, they get close to, like, ending their lives because of some people that go so far into canceling a certain person, and it goes, okay, they made a mistake. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but you have to realize that, like, these people live a life too. As much as you disagree maybe with what they have to say, or you disagree with a specific thing that happened, you have to understand the context behind it as well. And it's hard to make an assumption about somebody when you don't understand like the situation that they've been a part of.
Yeah.
Just so quick to blame everybody instead of like understanding where everybody's coming from. I have an issue with that too, so
No one takes the time to do the proper research or like understand.
It kind of feels like an echo chamber. Like people end up it's like the blind leading the blind. It's just
Yeah. Like I watched people try to cancel people trying to cancel Dream over like a rumor that was purposely started to cancel Dream like yesterday. And people were like just blindly accepting what this person, because like someone like fabricated a video of him saying something not good, and it obviously wasn't him. And people were just like not like looking into it or anything. They were just accepting what other people were saying about it. It's like you have to.
the yellow pages, I mean, we just kind of accept what. Or have you guys seen that documentary, The Social Dilemma?
I have not.
no.
Oh my gosh, you need to see it. It's so good. I'm gonna plug this really quick. So good. It is like the best thing if you are super into learning how big companies like kind of manipulate your daily usage of like phone stuff and the internet and everything, and how they like cater it specifically towards you so that you stay on longer, and like they can specifically use advertisements to like make you stay on for a longer period of time. It's really crazy actually, and it's amazing because everything that you see on like your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever is all catered towards you. So depending on what your opinions are and what you find to be truthful is what you will see on like your Facebook and things like that. And so I was just like, this is crazy, because if you look at it from that perspective and you see how like how divided we are right now, it makes so much sense. I mean, it's crazy because everybody has their own opinion and everybody thinks that they know what the truth is, when in reality we're just pretty much being lied to unless you go to an outside source specifically looking for different information.
Yeah. And that's a thing that always bothers me.
It's just like kind of one of those things that like you realize how much we are baited into believing certain things, and that's why I try to give everybody like the leniency to I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I understand that everybody is getting like different information, and everybody's getting information that they see specifically to believe.
Yeah.
So it's, I always try to look at everything from both sides and like understanding, why you feel this way. And I have no issue with like you formulating your own opinion. Just do it based on do it, but with the knowledge of the facts of it, instead of being there's false facts and I'm going to just believe said false facts. And it's like,
yeah.
If you want to believe it and I personally think it's wrong, or I personally think it's whatever, but you have all of the necessary facts that you need to formulate your own opinion, that's totally fine. I just want you to have all of the information possible in order for you to make that opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I always find it really important to like do research on like before you form any like major opinion. Actually, you don't need to do research to like say, oh, my favorite color is blue, or like
you got to evaluate all the colors of the rainbow, Nova. Obviously.
Obviously.
Have you heard of indigo? It's not blue. It's indigo or teal or violet. It could be any of those.
All right, this is a call-up post. Anyone whose favorite color is yellow, you're wrong, and I need you to stop listening. That is a joke. Please do not.
Type of yellow though, because there's different types of yellow. Like
I'm talking like bright, like a nice like gold, like a little like sunflower color. That's fine, but like bright yellow, leave.
Like a neon. You're like talking.
Yeah, I mean I guess just anything bright, even like light yellow.
Like, I mean, like, is Iowa State's yellow bad?
It's gold. It's good.
But it's a type
But I think
of
they
yellow,
were talking
though.
about
That's
it,
the
like,
difference.
It's the brighter yellows that are gross. The lighter ones. like a yellow whiteboard marker. Leave.
Leave.
Sure. Your opinion is wrong. Yellow is gross. This message is brought to you by Blue Gang.
Blue is the superior color.
It is.
It is.
I will definitely attest to that. Blue is a very superior color. There's so many shades. Like, I'm looking on my computer right now, and there's like 7 shades of blue that I'm looking at.
Same. Cam.
Yeah, the voice recorder is blue.
Do you agree that blue is the superior color?
Blue is the superior color.
Good.
Blue's majestic.
Good.
It makes you feel good. It's a solid color. It's one that you can always fall back on. Like, if you're
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chill.
like with other things, you can't really just be like, oh yeah, I want a this colored this. Like, you can find things in blue. That and pink. I hate pink, by the way.
I hate pink with a passion.
I hate pink for like.
It's pink.
I hate pink for like. Partially because it was shoved down my throat being raised as a female at birth person. But also, like, when you start getting into brighter pinks, if you don't put it with the right color, it's, like, gross.
I mean, like, I can deal with a pastel pink every once in a while, just because I know, like, that my family is very... I mean, it wasn't necessarily shoved down my throat as a kid. I didn't have an issue with it necessarily. I was just a very... Like, I'm not your normal sort of chick that's just, like, fine with pink. I'm just like, nope, I do not like pink. I hate it. I am very much a tomboy sort of in that space, because even when I find certain things that are pink, I just don't like them. I mean, I have a backpack or whatever that has, like, it doesn't even have that much pink on it. There's literally more blue on it, blue and red, maroon, or whatever on it than there is pink, and I still cannot stand that bag because it's sort of pink.
It has to be... Pink always has to be with the right colors, I feel, too.
Thank you.
Because if you have the wrong shade of pink with the wrong colors, then it immediately ruins everything.
Salmon is a good color. I enjoy a salmon.
Salmon's a nice pink color. Yeah.
It's a solid... It's not, like, pinkish, or it's not, like, pink, but it's enough to where you feel like you're still wearing pink.
Yeah, or like, okay, if you pair like the hot pink with the green, you get the Cosmo Wanda combo. That's a good pink. Or like pastel blue and pastel pink, and you get the cotton candy combo. That's also okay.
I'm fine with the neon. Like, I'm not a fan of the neon pink with that, like with the green. But like, if you're doing a good solid, like, pink in my opinion is only good in pastels. I hate hot pink. It drives me nuts. It's one of those weird things I just cannot stand.
I only like it with green. Only in the Cosmo Wanda context.
I'll see if I can find a picture of it, but what's it called? My mother decided, because I was a sentient Earth, to paint my entire room pink, and that, like, oh my goodness, those colors clashed, and it made my room look small, and it was like, that was...
Mine used to be purple.
Huh?
So mine was purple.
Oh.
I just remember mine has always been like a weird, like, mustard yellow. It's really gross. It's not my vibe. But I remember we had that for a really long time, but then I got it painted, and I was like, I want it to be blue. That's what I did.
My room now is turquoise. Also, I've found out this like weird trend that seems to happen where a lot of non-binary people have like talked about their rooms, like their baby rooms, and they're like, yeah, instead of like cars or princesses or something, my parents decorated it with Winnie the Pooh, and I've seen so many non-binary people who say, yeah, mine was also decorated with Winnie the Pooh. I'm one of those people, by the way.
Really?
Yes, my mom...
I didn't know that.
My room was Winnie the Pooh, and then, lo and behold, 17 years later, gender? What's that?
I don't remember what my room was. My room was never, like, really girly. It was just, I just remember that I had this big turtle in my room, and it was the best thing ever. but I don't remember my room like being pink or being a specific like gender color or gendered color. And I mean, I think it might have been just a plain brown, maybe.
Ew.
I don't know. It was like a nice brown.
Okay.
There are no nice browns, only like crappy brown.
That's a good poo brown.
I remember that was like not like a huge thing when I was little, that my parents, well, could have been just because they were tired. They were like, I'm not doing that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I never remember like having anything super gender specific except for my baby blanket. But even still, I mean, it had all of the colors on it. There was just one side that had more pink on it than anything else.
My stuff wasn't super like gendered. Like my room was purple and I had like a butterfly because I had like wallpaper, like a strip of wallpaper on the center of the wall, and then half of the wall was white and like half the wall was like a light pastel purple. But like that was like the girliest bit about that, and it wasn't even like that bad in my opinion. It was just kind of nice pastel purple.
Yeah, pastel purples are nice. They're if you do them right. I mean, I feel like a lot of times in the 90s, like the early 2000s and late 90s, like a super big thing for some reason for people to do like these crazy room colors.
Yeah.
It's just like, I am not down with that. And then they started getting like, it was probably from early 2000s to like 2010 that they stopped doing that and started doing things like a little bit more bland, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, thank God, because I really did not need all of this like gender specific stuff, because it was just not the way I wanted to go about things. And I just remember there being a lot of stuff. My dad was like a super conservative dude, and he's still a very conservative dude. Love him to death, but that's just how he is.
Yeah.
And like, that was the only time that I really felt as if the like gender specific stuff was ever pushed on me in general. Like, because I'm a very tomboyish person. I like to wear sweatshirts and sweatpants and Carhartt jackets.
Carhartt jackets are nice though.
They are. They're so soft, and or not soft, but they're like really warm.
Yeah.
And I work out, so my job is out at the calf barn, and I have to be up at 3:30 so that I can go take care of those calves. And I have to be there till 10, which is stupid. Fine.
Damn.
Yeah.
It sounds like an alright job though, honestly.
It is fun. I do enjoy it. I'm just nervous because like this is the first time that I'm doing it by myself, because I have the like one other girl with me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is super stressful.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, you'll be fine. And I go, no, I won't, because I'm going to be here by myself all weekend. That's not cool. Like, oh, it's fine. You're going to do fine. It's like, oh my God, no.
It'll be fine.
I mean, hopefully. I just hope I don't have any labored cows, because that would be very, very scary.
That would suck.
Yeah, we have to deliver them.
Miss me with that.
Yeah.
Wait, where do you work? I'm sorry, I spaced out.
The calf farm, the dairy farm out
The calf?
Towers.
Yeah, calves. Yeah.
Oh.
Cam, here's the thing. Our school's main thing is technology and agriculture.
That's so cool.
There are so many animal farms on this stupid campus.
Literally.
The school owns like half the town, and it's all just like cornfields and like farms.
Yeah, you did say there was a lot of corn.
There's cornfields, and then there's just farmland. The campus goes pretty far past like the actual town. Like, it's still in Storybrooke, but it's like, it's just not in Ames. And and it's literally just out in the middle of nowhere. We just have buildings for ISU, which I thought was really funny. And so, the building that I work at is an 8-minute drive from Towers, even further south. So I'm like, oh, interesting.
before we get too off track by college, we should probably get back on track.
It's a little bit,
Well, we started talking
we
about
passed
random
that point
things.
a
That's
while
still
ago.
Kind of on topic. Our next question is, what is some gay shit you like? This could be like media, so like Instagram pages, YouTube accounts, TV shows, books. Just what's some gay shit you like?
There's so many. I follow Pink News on Snapchat, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but Pink News is the best, like, queer-related internet anything that I have gotten. Like, their information is extremely accurate, and they really do, like, a good job with their research and everything. And, like, the guests that they have on that, like, the spotlights and stuff are so good. And they just do, like, a really good job of covering pretty much every topic, like, known to man.
Have you seen the Queer Catch-Up?
Yes.
So good.
It is really good. And, but they just do, like, a really good job of just showing not just queer-related stuff, but they also show a lot of, like, polyamory stuff, a lot of things that are, like, involved with the community, but a little less so talked about, which is actually really good for just people who are looking for information that they don't normally get. And I feel, and they're very, I mean, obviously they're biased towards the LGBTQ plus community, but which they kind of need to be, because they're just giving information based solely on, you know, what they need to know about the community and everything. Just a good teaching tool if you don't know anything about, like, any of the queer stuff. And it's really a good place, like, to start if you're just concerned about, like, stuff that you want to know about, or you're questioning things, and it's just like, okay, well, let's take a look at this. And they're very accepting of everybody, so, you know, and they're very interactive with their fans and with the, like, just the group that they try to push forward. And then there's a lot of people also from BuzzFeed who have left BuzzFeed now, but they do their own independent work, and they are, I'm trying to remember her name, but she used to work with BuzzFeed, and she's now working with her and a couple of other girls from BuzzFeed as well, and they're all doing LGBTQ plus stuff, and they're also a part of the community as well. And so that's, like, a super interesting thing that they're trying to do. And it's just kind of like, it's a lot of just kind of funny, like, oh, queer women do this, or, you know, they do this. And it's really just kind of an interesting way to get the information that you normally wouldn't think you would get information from. But yeah, and now I'm trying to think of, like, if there's movies or...
Have you ever read Queer Theory, Gender Theory? It's very good.
A podcast?
No, it's a book by Ricky Wilkins.
No, I haven't. Tell me.
It is one of my favorite books ever. It talks about the theory behind gender theory, essentially, and it's sort of talks about how gender is a part of our everyday life and how it has and always will affect all movements and everything within the system of life, and how it affected, like, the gay rights movement and the women's rights movement, and, like, the theory behind binary and non-binary genders. It's very good. Highly recommend it.
I would love to read that, because I have had conversations, like, in high school. I remember I had a lot of conversations with a lot of teachers, actually, about some, like, just queer things in general, and they were, like, talking about politically, you know, how politically charged a lot of stuff is, and how everything, like, gender-wise is very politically charged. Like, if you are a woman specifically in the LGBTQ plus community, it's a little bit more difficult, because you're, it's hard to say that you're marginalized, but sort of like that. I don't want to say that because it's not 100% true, but, like, you get put into a bubble and you just are kind of, like, placed there, and you don't really have any way to move out of that bubble, you're just kind of stuck in the middle. And like, you have progressive movement for a lot of transgendered rights, you have progressive movement for a lot of or at least that I've seen, transgendered people of color that they have been doing a lot of stuff for. And like in Chicago, I know at least they've been doing a lot of work with the homeless LGBTQ plus community and trying to fix that sort of area, because that's like a super big issue in Chicago and a lot of big cities, unfortunately, right now.
I was gonna say, I genuinely just blanked on everything I was gonna say, but that's really interesting points that you were raising.
Yeah, I've just found that a lot of information that we normally would not get is being pushed forward to try to raise awareness about it, which is really good, and I really do appreciate that, because I think that it's important that we at least put some light on it, even if there's not necessarily change immediately. Like, I think that it's important to at least be like, hey, there's a problem, or there's an issue that we need to raise awareness about, and maybe start doing something about it. But I know that like the homeless youth has been or the homeless LGBTQ plus community youth is a super big issue right now that we're trying to do a lot of stuff for. And I know that there's a lot of shelters that are opening up, and a lot of people who are trying to help with like mental health stuff too, because that's a super big issue with like suicide and self-harm, and people not committing themselves to like institutions where they actually need to go and get help. But we've also got obviously biased opinions in the mental health area as well, which is really unfortunate, because that's where a lot of people go when they have issues regarding like their gender or their sexuality or things like that, and it's supposed to be a very solid space for you to talk about that stuff, and unfortunately it is now not turning into that.
Yeah.
What's it called? Sorry, I just remembered what I was going to say when you were talking about the, what's it called, not quite marginalization, but the women in the LGBTQ plus community. Wow, English. What's it called? On that topic, something that I had noticed was that women, because there's a large issue with LGBTQ plus people getting hypersexualized a lot, but within that, I feel like women specifically in the LGBTQ plus community get fetishized a lot, which is something that I'd noticed, it happens to men as well, but not as frequently, what I've seen.
I feel like it happens more with like in anime. It happens to men more than it happens to women. But in like
just like things that they've been doing in like Japan, that it's been a normal thing for a long time, but they also have like a really big issue with specifically with women like getting sexually harassed and everything, and like just randomly on bus stops and train stations, and just walking around sometimes too, and people don't do anything about it. And that happens a lot with people who are identifying, and that's really scary for them, because since they're not accepted in a society that is like supposedly very anti LGBTQ plus, then you have to be like super careful about who you talk to, who you interact with. And so if you're put into that situation where you can't really get away from these people who have a possibility to hurt you very, very badly, and you have no way of like doing anything about it, because goodness knows that the police aren't going to do anything probably. And it's just like, I get worried about that stuff, and I wish that there was a better way to go about like putting services in place for those people, so that they're not nervous walking around campus at night, or just doing basic things that like a white man would be able to do during the nighttime. Like, I think I was driving around at 2 a.m, and some dude was just walking around, and it's just like, I would never be able to do that, because like it's just impossible. You would never be able to do that because you would be so nervous about somebody coming and attacking you. And I don't have like pepper spray or anything to like protect myself.
Yeah.
And it's just like, ugh, it makes me sad that we've gotten to that point where it's like you can't, nobody in general, no one's, unless they know you, obviously, they're not going to know about your gender fluidity or your sexuality or anything like that. But that's still like a big issue in general with like being out and doing your own thing and like living by yourself and stuff. That's something that people have to worry about, and you shouldn't have to worry about that. That's the sad part about it.
Yeah, definitely. I've had a experience last year on campus where I was leaving an LGBT club, and it was last year, so all the yikes guys were out, and it was like about 8:00 at night, and I was walking back to my dorm with a friend of mine, and like these like couple of boys were like, I was very scared because they're like writing Trump 2020 stuff on the floor, and they're like, we were walking away from this area, and they like started like saying stuff to us, and they're like, oh, what are your pronouns? And I was like, my friend started like to try to talk to him. I was like, nope, keep going. We're getting to the dorms and we're going inside. And it was just like, it was scary because I was like, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know how much they know about me. I don't know what they're gonna do. I was like, I just want to get out of here as fast as I can.
And that shouldn't be like that, because like you're specifically targeting a group of people that like they didn't even do anything. They're just coming home from like a normal day of doing stuff that you would do too, and you literally are not in charge of your own life, and it sucks because it's like you should not have control over me when I should have control completely over myself. Like, it's not fair that you can go out and do these things and not get in trouble, and then as soon as I do it, or as soon as like I'm involved in a situation like that, it's impossible for me to not get in trouble, or for me to not look like I was the one that started the situation. And so it's like it makes no sense, and there's a lot of bias toward sororities and fraternities and Greek groups like that, and they just like have no information about these marginalized groups, and it's really unfortunate because you need to provide the information, but no one's willing to even read about it or like involve themselves in anything like relating to it. Like yesterday, so I'm a part of Wilson Hall Council, and so there's like IRHA presidents that are getting voted right now, and so we have freshmen that live in Joffrey that both live in Joffrey that are trying to win the presidency, obviously. Yeah. And it scared the absolute crap out of me because
he's also had problems with racism and stuff like that.
Oh, jeez.
And they have done literally nothing about it, and it really, excuse my language, pisses me off because I'm like, you're not doing anything to solve an obvious issue. Yeah. That is literally in your face. Like, I would understand if you like have been trying and like there's still even no real reason for you to not be continuously trying. And if these people are doing it, like, you need to put in a space and be like, if you keep doing this, you will get expelled.
Yeah, because like I think the most the school did about the like things that happened last year is they just made it where if you live in the dorm, you just have to take this like online canvas thing that's really easy to do, and then you're fine about like diversity.
And you're gonna lie about it anyway.
Oh yeah.
If you live in one of those big old places.
It's like, watch this video where you can just put your headphones down, the video plays, and then you answer the questions using like common knowledge, like common sense, and then, well, there you go, you passed.
I understand that people are getting sick and tired of hearing like diversity and inclusion, and I understand that. Like, but
It's important.
The reason it keeps being brought up is because we keep having issues with people not obviously displaying diversity and inclusion. Like,
Yeah.
it's obvious that there's an issue. Like, if you are not doing anything and you are like being a good person of society and you are calling people out on their shit when you need to call them out on their shit, it's like, okay, you know, that's totally fine. I understand your reasoning for like wanting to not talk about this at all.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I do my part to, you know, stop these people from elevating to a level of unsafeness, you know?
Yeah.
I understand that. I get that. But we're still pretty much not at that point. Like,
No, yeah.
just be like, oh yeah, we're done. You know, I'm tired of talking about it and I'm tired of doing whatever, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
Not okay. And obviously Towers will be shut down this next semester, or this next year actually.
Oh.
And so all, like, Towers is pretty much the place where a lot of international students come, a lot of graduate students, a lot of people who...
It's a cheap overflow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the place for you to get, like, be a part... You want to be a part of campus, but you don't...
Want to be, in the center. Yeah, I get that.
So we were talking to these IRHA people, and we were like, how are you going to go about, you know, like... Obviously, Joffrey is a very predominantly white, rich area, and we were worried about, like, these marginalized groups coming in and just being treated completely unfairly because they are of the, quote-unquote lower class of people in the society of Iowa State, at least.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, how are you guys going to go about, you know, doing anything to help these marginalized groups? Because Towers tries to do as much as we can to involve people, like, with Black Lives Matter, and we were doing a lot of stuff with like BLM month and everything. We were showing documentaries based on, you know, people of color in the, like, prison system and things of that nature. So we were trying to really push that stuff, but we've never really had an issue with racism in our halls. And if we have, we have obviously not been told about it, or it has not been brought up by people who that would be against, you know? And so, we've never really had an issue with that because we understand that there's a sense of community with this, and so why would you go up against that and, like, purposely make somebody, you know, miserable because you want to be rude about it?
Yeah.
So we were, you know, taking and talking about Joffrey and what they were going to do, and they just really weren't answering the questions. You know, it was like, we're going to start a conversation, we're going to start, you know, whatever. And I go, but what conversation are you going to start?
Yeah.
You're going to sit here and you're going to try to talk to people who just do not care about anything that you're saying, and they're just going to completely tune out.
Yeah,
it stinks that you can't get people to listen to you, because it's like, it's important to at least know about it. I don't care if you disagree or agree with it. Like, you can formulate your opinion afterwards. I do not care about that. But understand that people just need human respect, like decent respect.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to be like, okay, I may not agree with your quote-unquote life choices, if you want to call it that, but... but it's not your business to tell me how to live my life.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, and it's the same kind of way of how I feel about, like, church and stuff. You know, I really don't enjoy when the church tells you that you have to live this way or you have to live that way because it's a sin to do anything else, and it's like, I think basing our lives off of an extremely old, retranslated multiple times book is not necessarily the way to go about.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you want to do that, you are more than welcome to. I just personally do not want you to push your beliefs onto me.
Yeah. So we talked about how, like, other people's identities could affect them. So how does your identity as a bisexual woman affect you?
It's kind of weird because, so, like, I am an avid person in the dating world, I guess. Or, like, I talk to a lot of people that are, like, specifically looking for just either they don't want anything serious, or if they do, then I've pretty much, like, put the label, like, oh, I'm not really looking for that right now.
Yeah.
But it also kind of puts into the light that, like, a lot of bisexual women are very sexualized in a way that it's like, oh, they're easy to put into, like, multiple groups of people. Like, they would be really good for orgies or for threesomes or things like that, because it's like, oh, now you can get double whatever, and it's like, can we not do that anymore?
Yeah.
Please, because I understand, like, if that's what you want to do and you enjoy that is totally down with me. Like, I'm totally fine with that. I have no issue with you doing that. But instead of going into the situation, talking to me and thinking that that's what you want to get out of it, and that's like not what I'm looking for, that's really not cool. And a lot of bisexual people that I've talked to, at least, kind of feel the same way, where they're just like, you kind of seem like a very unfaithful person, or you seem as though you can't be trusted to, like, not cheat on somebody or anything, because you have, if you want to call it, more options open to you. And it's like, okay, but it's the same thing as if you're straight and you're like, okay, and now I'm going to talk to every dude or every woman, like, that's my path, you know? And it's like, no, if I find you attractive or I find you worthy of, like, wanting to talk to, then I will go about it and proceed about my day, you know, normally. But people don't, like, see it that way.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate. Not, like, necessarily deemed worthy, but just, like, if I want to pursue something, then I guess I will go about it in the way that I deem it necessary, you know?
Yeah.
It's just not one of those things where it's just like every little person is what you want to look for, you know? Like, you have standards for yourself, just like everybody else does.
Yeah.
I've had people ask me that. Like, are you just attracted to every person you see? And I'm like, no.
Works. That's just, you need to go to a doctor if that's what you think, like, sexuality is based around. It's just an attraction to a group of people or a specific gender or things of that nature. Not exactly, but, you know, you understand what I mean. But just, it's like, I just wish we could get past that threshold of just thinking that everybody is going to be attracted to everybody, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
Standards for yourself. Yeah.
It's always the thing where people are like, yeah, I'm, like, gay or bi. They're, like, the people they tell all, like, the time are like, oh, well, as long as you're not attracted to me, that's fine. It's like, just because I am gay or bi or whatever doesn't mean I'm attracted to you. It's, you know.
Nerd thing when you bring it up with other people.
Yeah.
And then they get offended when you're not you say you're not attracted to them.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not you, it's just not my preference. Like, I mean, would you have preferred that I be like, oh yeah, and
I'm so into you.
Yeah.
You know? Like, what's that gonna do to our relationship? It's gonna probably negatively affect it, because I'm almost positive that you don't feel the same way.
Yeah.
I really hate it when people try and put the situation into specifically into their own life,
Yeah.
about you. It's about the fact that I felt comfortable telling you about it, and I was like, you know what? They seem like they're probably not gonna, judge me about this. And then when you do go about it like that, then it's like you kind of take away all of that security that they had before,
Yeah.
which is really sucky because it takes a lot for people to come out to other people, and it's especially if they trust you, then that it's like a knife in the heart.
Yeah, because you trust that person enough to tell them this big thing about yourself, and then they say stuff like that, and you're like, well, it's not poggers, now is it? It's not poggers, now is it?
Because I had that same thing with gender, because I had this group of people who I thought I knew really well and were going to be totally cool with it, and, they weren't, and they just didn't understand that, and it was really frustrating, because I'd always had that security that I had these friends who were going to be there for me no matter what, and it didn't end up that way, and that really just, salt in the wound, man.
Especially when you think that they're gonna be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just oh, interesting. I really see, because that tends to be a big issue a lot with women. At least I know that they really try to perpetuate this very gay vibe or this very queer vibe in general.
Yeah.
And they purposely do it and then get mad when people are attracted to them, or they think that they're of a sexuality that they aren't, and it's hold on.
Yeah.
You were totally fine with this earlier. What happened?
Yeah.
And not saying that you can't necessarily be fluid with your sexuality or anything like that, but there's also the case of you're really just dragging them out to the middle of the sea and just saying goodbye and then leaving you there, and it's no, that's not okay. That's kind of baiting me into thinking that I'm gonna get something out of this that you were not even close to looking for. So not poggers.
Not poggers.
Not poggers.
Not poggers.
Straight women took a lot of LGBTQ plus fashion and stuff, and then were absolutely shocked when women started asking them out. And it's just if you, I don't care how you dress however you want. Just understand that you're dressing like this, and it's going to give people a perception of your sexuality.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of LGBT culture things and fashion and stuff like that has become a trend for the average person, and then these things that we would use to identify each other, we see on these other people, and we ask them about that, and then they're like, what? No, why would you think that? And I'm like, well, you're doing these things that we kind of use to help find each other out in the world,
and it's hard to base everything off of just identifying things that we use on a daily basis, because especially now with all of the open internet and being oh, okay, this is technically, it's kind of queer baiting in a sense.
Yeah,
because it's just you're giving off a vibe that people have been using for a specific reason, and you know that you know what the reason is. You're not oblivious to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you just don't really care. And I guess we can't be those people that it's you need to wear a button that tells me your sexuality or anything like that. But I do think that there needs to be an understanding of just that you may be approached, especially if you're straight and you go to a gay bar or something like that, be approached, but there's no reason for you to be
offended. Yeah.
About it. Because it's they're not going to be a predator towards you. If they are, obviously, go to the police, get help, stuff like that. But most of the time, if you're like, oh, I'm actually not, whatever, they'll move on and they'll be like, nice
Yeah.
to meet you, and then move to the next whatever, they're going to do. And people just don't get that. They just don't understand that. And they think that everybody is after them, and it's like, no, I promise you that's not the case. You don't need to be scared of every person that is identifying, like, I promise we're not going to kill you.
Yeah.
Well, some of us are kind of crazy, but that's just personal preference.
We're just looking to vibe, dude.
I saw this post on Tumblr where, like, the first half was, oh yes, so I went to a gay bar and this woman hit on me and I was, like, so offended. It was like a Tumblr post and somebody reblogged it. Like, I'm sorry, what was the first part of that? You went to a what bar and then got offended when what happened?
Yeah, like, if you...
As long as they're not aggressively pursuing you, I don't see an issue with that situation.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with a straight person going to a gay bar. Like, maybe you're going with a LGBT friend. But if you are there and then you get offended that someone assumes that you are LGBT, like, that's when the issue starts. Is when you get offended about it.
And it's like, and that's part of my thing is I go, normal bar setting, I can understand maybe being a little offended, being a little like, and I can understand that. If you're a straight person, it's kind of, it's an awkward thing, and it can be for you at least. And like, for me, I'm just going to be like, well, okay, move on from this. But it can be an awkward situation, but just move on and be like, I am not of that sexual identification, and will be more than likely 9 times out of 10 you're probably gonna just be like, oh, okay, that's totally fine. You want to get a drink, you want to just chill, like, that's what's gonna happen. I think a lot of times we put a major mark on it and say this is like super bad, and if anybody does this, like, you need to watch out, and I don't know.
Yeah.
People get so offended by everything, and it's stressful.
Yeah. I feel like that conversation ended and I didn't know where to go from there.
Well, we're coming to our close. We have our last question, which is, how did you come out? If you are comfortable sharing.
What did I do? Well, because my parents were divorced, so I had to come twice, which was not fun. With my mother's side of the family, she didn't really care. She was like, oh, okay. Like, I just kind of talked to her about it and was like, I think that this is normal. And I'm pretty sure it was more of just me being like, I want to go to the gay pride parade. They're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And so then I went, and it was fine. And then the other time with my dad, I came out while I was crying, which was not fun.
Aww.
It was more because we were just having a conversation, and it was fine though, because he was chill with it. He's one of those people that doesn't talk about that stuff in general, and regardless of whether you're identifying or not. And so for him, it was just like an awkward thing, and he was just trying to avoid it at all possible, possible turns. So that was just kind of normal. I definitely did not have like a very stressful coming out situation, which was very nice. I know a lot of people deal with that, and you can come out at your own time, at your own pace.
Yeah.
Coming out is weird.
That's an interesting thing, especially if you do not have a very accepting family, which I always feel horrible for those people, and I wish you the best of luck in your journey of coming to your family. If you ever want to, of course.
Yeah, you definitely, like, if you don't feel like it's safe for you to do so, you definitely don't have to.
I would definitely, if you don't feel safe, then get out of the situation first, and then get to a secure place in your life, and then be like, you know what, if I say it and they want to leave, then that's totally fine, because I am secure in my life, and I have, means to fall back on, so it's not a stressful situation, because I know that for a lot of people, it's, you get kicked out and things like that, so don't go about it and get kicked out, because that would be not good for your mental health.
Or your actual health, probably.
Or your actual health as well.
Yeah.
the help regarding anything in this situation.
Yeah. That is all we have for today. So I think we can close it out. Thank you, Abby, for being our guest.
You are more than welcome.
I
Thank you
learned
for
so
joining.
much today.
Yeah. Everyone should check out the book Cam talked about and the documentary Abby talked about because they seem really good. Yep.
Very good. I highly recommend at least The Social Dilemma. It puts you in perspective of like your own opinions, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
So everyone should check those out. Check out all of our other stuff at Alphabet Soup. Our Twitter, our YouTube if you're not listening to it on YouTube, our Spotify if you're not listening to it on Spotify, our Twitter, I said Twitter, Instagram. Check all that out. And we'll be back next episode. Bye.
Yes, bye.